it's Georgie the Goblin, and welcome to the official Family of Gamers podcast, the podcast where Andrew and Coach talk all things war games, board games, and much, much more. And here are your hosts, Andrew and Coach.
FOG Andrew here, and the Coach here.
Hey, what's up?
And we got the Roy.
Hello, hello.
From Family Gamers. Welcome, War Gamers, to an exciting, awesome episode. All right. I think, you know, it's been a long time coming. I think this episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about a game. Ryan, what is that game?
Ravaged Star.
Yes. Now, before we get into talking about Ravaged Star, if this is your first time here listening to this podcast, we do all things miniature wargaming, board games, tabletop games, all that good stuff. And we have our link tree in the show notes or the description, wherever you're watching it. You can check out the YouTube channel where we post pretty much weekly on there. And then we also have our social media pages, our Patreon, and our Discord server down in the link tree, so you can check that out. And so I think we need a little bit of backstory about what the hell even is Ravaged Star for the people that don't know. Coach, would you like to give a little bit of the lore dump?
So, the guys from Mini Wargaming decided to make some chaos model or chaos adjacent or chaos proxies for 40K, and then ended up writing rules for them and making rules for the game Ravaged Star, which is their own game, and they come out with two other factions, which are the Amari and the Gorkog.
Yes.
And they sent us a starter set, which was like a 3D printed starter set, and that's what we used to do some battle reports.
Yeah, so we have 2 battle reports up by the time this video's going out. We have a third one ready to go, and then obviously we're filming more. We're filming more because we I don't think that's really a spoiler, but I think we're all enjoying the game. I would think. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, when we were at Adepticon, it was just like, I think I've told this story before, but it was just when we were there, we saw it, it was packed, we couldn't get a demo in, and then just on the last day, we played it, loved it, and we had to get our hands on the last box. So
yeah.
And we haven't really looked back. So
Yeah. And you know, it took us a little bit to get the ball rolling, but I'm glad that we did, because we enjoyed it at Adepticon. I mean, we got 6 other games from Adepticon, so we were trying to fit everything in and play everything, and then it was like Ravaged Star was on the docket. It was in the bunker. It was sitting there, and I kept staring at it. I printed up everything, and I was like, all right, we gotta play this. You know, we gotta get it going. So. And then, you know, they Mini Wargaming sent us the stuff, like Coach said. They sent us the Siege of Ankar starter set, which got us a taste of the Gorkog and the Amari. So that was pretty cool, because we ended up getting the Veil Touched War Pack, one of the War Packs at Adepticon. But Coach, your overall opinion on Ravaged Star?
We're going to do that now, or do you want to go through everything else?
No, so Ryan gave his opinion. You can give yours now, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. Still in beta. Some stuff I'm not too keen on yet, but it's got a good start, and I think it's something that has legs. It could go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's got a decent rule set. I like some of the mechanics in it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty fun to play. I like things die left and right, so it's kind of, it's kind of cool in that sense.
Yeah, and we've gone over the rules, had some rules corrections, and just kind of trying to figure it out.
Well, we were playing it wrong.
Well, we were playing it wrong, but we still gotta really
We were playing it wrong in a way that we've always known how to play games of this kind of scale. I think
right.
with damage, but I guess like there's just like there's like a learning curve,
Yeah.
and it's also like again like the game is in beta, like we're gonna make mistakes, like. But it's part of the process, and when we put that out there, it's like, hey, like we're trying this for the first time, like, you're not seeing anything, like you're not seeing our prep, you're not seeing this. It's like, hey, like this, we're trying out the game, so
Right.
you know,
And it was cool to do the first battle report where we did Veiled Touch versus Gorkog, and then the Gorkog pretty much, spoiler alert, getting wiped out, and then because the Veiled Touch like were so friggin' powerful, the enforcers just seem so powerful, and then going and seeing other people were kind of saying the same thing, and then the Matt and everybody over there from Mini Wargaming decided to keep them the same points, but like nerf them a little bit. So that was cool. It's cool to see that like the living document is always changing. Like, oh, you have a rule suggestion or a question or something. There's the Discord server that you can go into, the Ravaged Star Discord. So Matt is very active in there. If you have any questions about the rules, you can ask him there, or even just with playtesting, just to give suggestions on and feedback, which is what we're gonna kind of what we've been doing through doing the battle reports.
So what you're saying is after we did our battle report, they changed the veil touched.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but I'm just saying, like, as other people I know in the Discord, I saw people were saying, "Oh, the Veil Touch seemed a little like a little too OP compared to like some other stuff," and which we definitely agreed. And then me and Ryan did a battle report, and it seems like they definitely toned them down and they're going in the right direction with them. The other thing actually I wanted to mention, I know a lot of people. It's so funny because I see a lot of people complaining about the Veil Touched, and I think Ryan, you kind of saw this. If you want to chime in on that,
with regard to
the models and everything. Remember that you
oh yeah. So I love the models. That's my take. If you don't know, you basically, when we're ordering whatever, whether it's Gorkog, Amari, Veil Touch, they come pre-assembled, which is awesome. I think I could speak for all of us that we like the hobby part of it. At least I can speak for Coach. I don't know about you because I know you don't like painting, and we like painting. We like everything about that. But putting together the models in and of itself is probably the least rewarding experience. So that's nice. I love the models. They're super detailed. I think they're unique. They're pretty awesome to look at. I was pretty disappointed because like there's a lot. I've seen some chatter online about them being too like out chaos and chaos, and it's like, yeah, but they're awesome. Like they're their own thing. I don't. You know. I don't. Not even that. Like obviously, like they're chaos proxies, but like they're just like, I don't know. Some people think that if you go so overboard with details that it like takes away from it. I don't think so with this. I think it adds to it. I think the models are I don't know. If you just haven't seen it yet, I would say go look up pictures. They're really awesome. They're well done. And I think we mentioned this when you guys were first playing. I was like, you know, what kind of, I know Coach mentioned this. It's like, you got to have a good game and you got to have good models. And if they go hand in hand, that's a winning combination. So,
Well, nobody's going to play good models in a sucky rule set.
right. And then we'll play a good rule set with sucky models. And then, there's just something missing,
Yeah.
right.
But like, how much more detail? I mean, if you're comparing them to GW, like how much more detail is on there than GW?
I would say more.
Listen, and actually, my buddy Virgil, who we ended up getting to, he saw the models. He was like, "These are awesome. I want to pledge." But he's like, "I'm on the fence." I go, "Okay, come over, play it with us, and see how you like it." then that night he spent even more than we did altogether on a pledge for Ravaged Star just before the pledge manager closed. So, but
You're
he
welcome, Matt.
yeah, we got another guy to join the fray for Ravaged Star. But he was even saying, he brought up to me the same thing, that like they seem like too much like chaos, and people and the thing that people need to understand is that they're right, because that's what they were supposed to be. They were proxies for chaos, and then now it's their now they made them their own game, made it its own game, and then introduced Gorkog and Amari. People just they need to sit down and understand that, like, that's what they were originally.
Right. I don't think that's the complaint. I think people are just saying like, oh, like it's just everyone knows it's chaos, right? And I like obviously like Dave and Matt wouldn't deny that was the original purpose as proxy models, but I think what people are saying is like it's a bit like, at least what I disagree. I just want to be preface it, but people say like, oh, like they're trying to outdo chaos and it's a bit cheesy. Like I completely disagree. The models are super detailed, yes, but like if you go on GW's website and you look at some of the Armies of Chaos stuff, it's like this stuff is also super detailed. So in my opinion, it's like, hey, like you probably don't like that, there's a new game in town that probably, obviously I'm saying the Gorkog and Amari are different, but obviously with the chaos stuff, it's just like, yeah, we're purists where we want to stick with this, and like, everything else is gonna immediately get some kind of negative, plug-in criticism, because I think if you compare the models like just side by side, it's like, well, they're both very detailed. I don't really take issue with that consensus, but I think it's coming from a certain community of people that probably aren't too happy with the game's inception. But I couldn't be. If anything, I should be. I think we should be big sellers at. No, the models are fantastic.
Yeah.
They come pre-assembled, and it's just like they will look so good when they're painted and on the board when we're playing with terrain. So
100%, 100%. And
Well, I don't know about the Amari because I had to put a lot of them together.
Yeah, but I think that might have been just the 3D printed ones that Matt sent us, or you just have to glue some arms and legs together instead of the head, the torso, the legs,
Well,
like a whole thing.
That's what I did.
Well, it wasn't just it was just the two arms.
No, and the heads.
The heads weren't on there?
Yeah, but I would assume that once the boxes come out for the pledge, that it's going to be more like what we bought with the Veiled Touch, where it's all everything's pre-assembled. That would be my guess. I feel like he just got the. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I assume too. Like that's what I'm thinking. It's probably gonna, because it's gonna be the PVC models. That's what they've been had saying. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I assume they're all gonna just be, they'll all be pre-assembled, unless it's, like the Scout mechs where you can have different weapons weapons options, you know what I mean? Like that I get being different, you know what I mean? But the models are sick. And again, Virgil, just looking at the models, was like this is awesome. Like he was gonna get it just to paint, whether or not he was playing it or not too. He was like, these are freaking awesome. I'm like, yeah, but I told him, I said, you're gonna paint all these beautiful models and you're not gonna have them on the table. I'm like, you gotta have them on the table. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely have to paint them up and actually see them in action, because that's always the cool part. Although I don't paint, but I get a good feeling, because it's like, oh, coach worked very hard on these models and now they're on the table. It's badass, you know what I mean?
I'm glad it's not just us. Like obviously, like, we're really excited about it, but like, it's within our own circle. Like, we're talking about it, but we showed someone who was maybe looking at 40K, but isn't really involved in the wargaming hobby, saw this and was like, I'm gonna drop X amount and I'm in, you know.
Right, right.
Uh,
And he
yeah,
was he
no,
was actually telling me like he was showing his brother all this stuff, and his brother wanted to get into 40K, and he's like yeah, but look at Ravaged Star though, you know, like the models are better than 40K, you know, so
But
I
didn't
mean,
they?
let's not. Yeah,
Weren't
go
they
ahead.
playing 40K already?
they well they from what I remember him telling me, I think they've tackled 40K once before, but like recently they were talking about getting back into it, and then you know we showed them Ravage Star, so you know that kind of changed everything, I think.
Yeah, and it's no like I mean, like 40K has beautiful models. They've always had beautiful models, and I love them. But I think it's one of the things I miss. Like after we stopped playing, I think it was one of the things I missed the most about it was just like, wow, like every army looks awesome.
Yeah,
I think we finally found a game where it's like, hey, like, you know, every model looks awesome again, you know. I think just the scale of it and the fact that we've been playing games on like you've mentioned before, like we've described it as like a skirmish game, but like a mass battle skirmish with skirmish rules almost, and I think
yeah,
that's what this can be played up to, with great models and just like, you know, you get that feeling again with the board laid out. It's really nice. It's a good change of pace from like when we've been playing Dead Zone. It's like, you know, you're playing on a contained board with like, you know, your strike team, and it's a little more enclosed. Like, we finally have the open battlefield again.
right, right. Yeah, and you know, I know coach has said this before, you know, he misses rolling buckets and buckets of dice, although it's not as many buckets as 40K, but it's a little bit more than you know what you know Dead Zone, Test of Honor, all those other skirmish
Yeah, but
games that we
it
play.
might be because we've been playing really low point values. We've been playing like half the game.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
we need to
I mean,
bust it up to 600-800 points,
right.
like what's recommended. I think that's going to be a difference. You know.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you know, it's just, you know, unfortunately, it's just the waiting game right now. You know, and just waiting for the pledges. You know, the pledge that we got, which it from what so it's where we got stuff for.
Use your words. Calm down. Use your words.
I can't. I'm too excited.
Well, listen, I gotta say before we get into that,
Yeah.
you know, I went away and we were walking around the town, and you know of where we were staying, and I saw this place, and I said, you know, that's probably a hobby shop, you know, like that. And we walk in, and you know, it's a nice place, upstate New York, and there's like about 5 or 6 tables, terrain and whatnot. I start looking around. It's a 40K place. Guy comes out. We start talking. Hey, you know, if you want me to paint your models and this and that, blah, blah, you know, showpiece and blah, blah. So eventually, once we got past that, I says, well, you know, we're playing other games like Dead Zone, Ravaged Star, what this and that. He goes, oh, well, if you ever want to come down and play 40K, you know, we come, we'll teach you guys. Don't even bring an army. We got stuff here. We can teach you and stuff. And I go, yeah, I know, but you know, when we were playing it, it was kind of, you know, a slog. And he said, no, but you know, 10th edition now is very streamlined. It's very, you know, straightforward and whatnot. And I said, yeah, but you guys said that in ninth. And he said, oh, ninth was terrible. But you guys said that in eighth, and you also said that in seventh, which, you know, me and Fabian bought the box sets and splitted them. So it's like, you know, when you're going to get your stuff together, and you know, because it still seems to me like it's the same old 40K, just you know, with minor differences in it. And I kind of like the mechanics of Ravaged Star as opposed to um, say 40K, and I also like the I go you go. You know, so there's certain mechanics I like better. It's kind of like some of the mechanics from other games. I don't think it's so original, but there are certain things in it. But it does lend from other games. But I like the aspects of the other games that bringing them together. So
Yeah.
kind of like the best of kind of cream of the crop of the other games put into one game.
Right.
I had a question. What edition did we stop playing 40K? Was it sixth? Or was it 7th?
I think it was 7th.
Because I remember the last things I kind of remember were they introduced like the Psyker phase, and the cards. I don't know what edition that was.
Yeah, yeah. But then I also bought like 2 sets of box sets that we played a little bit, and me and Fabian were playing. It was just like this is terrible. It just really was. And then ninth was just horrible. And then 10th came out. I was like, don't even ask me. You could buy it, but I'm not splitting it with you again. It's just a waste of money. I mean, the models, I painted a bunch of them up, but they're just sitting there, and it kills me that that's what's happening.
Well, and the whole thing is, well, again, like I know the guy's trying to sell it as streamlined, but like I feel like how could we possibly get back into it investment wise, knowing that like correct me if I'm wrong. I have a ton of white scars and I have a ton of Astra Militarum. Maybe not the Astra Militarum, but like I can't use the white scars I have, right? Or a good swath of them.
I honestly, I don't know, but if let's say we did get the rule set, I'm not buying anything new. I'm just going to use what I got. Plus, we got a bunch of stuff. I mean, how much stuff do you have unbuilt, unpainted? It's I would just use what I got. I remember when I was playing, I went to a game store, and this one guy was just playing the same army because he was so freaking cheap. I was like, "Why don't you get some new?" Nah, I've had the same army for the past 20 years, and that's it. I was like, "You don't want to maybe add like a heavy, you know, heavy tank or something?" No, no, this is it. And he used everything he did, and he also cheated that day because he said, "This is my army," and then all of a sudden he transported in 2 things of 2 squads of Terminators. But I'll tell you what, my Dread Knight and Grey Knight Terminators uh, wiped them all out in 2 turns, so that was okay. That's what you get for cheating.
It's so like hearing this is so nostalgic, but like at the same time, like I could never jump back in. I think we're on the same page there. I just couldn't do it. I'm really happy Ravaged Star is I feel like it's starting to fill that hole a little bit. And the mechanics being like this, like I don't even know, like the visuals being similar and the mechanics being so like 10th edition streamline. I can't talk on it because I don't know, but like as far as what I've played, like Ravaged Star is so streamlined. It's so like you said, I go, you go. There's a bag mechanic that gives you some kind of like I don't want to say mystery, but like you don't know who's going next. The bag mechanic is basically like very well used in the game, and I know you guys have played like Mortal Gods has it too. Like you guys have played games like that. It's just like I don't know. It feels right, and that's why I'm making the leap here. And I think that's why. And Andrew, I don't know if you want to segue into this eventually. Is why we're kind of investing ourselves in this with more models.
Yeah, so as of I guess we could kind of get into if you guys think we could get into our actual pledge now that we actually like the actual stuff we got or pledged for the thing. By the time this episode's out, the pledge manager is gonna be closed. Which they let it go for a while, which I'm glad they did because it gave us some time to play the game a bunch and really like be like, all right, we're getting this, you know what I mean? So we have the Veil Touch War Pack from Adepticon, and then we have the Siege of Endkar starter set that Matt and them sent to us, which has some Gorkog, it's got some Amari, but we were like, all right, we should, get some more, obviously, Amari, Gorkog, and even we were like, you know what, let's get some more Veil Touched, but we'll change it up a little bit. So like instead of having like a bunch of dudes, like we have like the Enforcers, the Executioners, the Valkyrs as like the different troops. We're like, all right, let's get the Horrors of the Veil War Pack because that one has some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, I know Ryan, you're pretty excited for that. You got, I think it comes with like 3 new leaders, like this guy, the Dread Terror. He's got like wings, he's huge, big claw. And then we get Yashara, the Shepherd of the Damned, who's got like these wings and like this whole thing with a big ass sword. It's like crazy. And then those Sorrow Spite guys, with like with all these like this stuff on them. It like we definitely. I think like it's cool because now we have like the regular dudes and now we have the monsters. And I know Ryan, you were pretty keen on getting this war pack.
Well, I think it balances what we have.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're not just correct me if I'm wrong. We're not getting one of those Land Raider esque tanks in this, right? It's just the monsters.
It's just this comes with Lord Tyrak on the big four-legged thingy, Dread Terrors, Yashara, 18 Sorrow Spites, and then 3 Elder Sorrow Spites. So it's mainly all like monster kind of things.
Yeah, I feel like we're like, you know, seeing uh seeing the Bat Reps going up against the Gorkog. The Gorkog have those kind of like monster support troops. What the Mind Shackler, right? And
Yeah,
who's the
the Mind Shackler is actually a leader, but the
oh
Agadon
really?
is the support. The support thing,
Right. I feel like we're missing that, and I feel like an army like a faction like the Veil Touch should have those like warped, monster esque creatures. And I'm glad, obviously they exist. We don't have it yet, but we're getting it. And I saw it and I was like, oh, we have to get that. We can't not have monsters
Right,
in
right,
our
right, right,
army.
right. Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking right now because I'm looking at the stuff. So it looks like the Sorrow Spites are like more core units, but then the Dread Terrors are elite units. So we're getting some elite
Nice.
units, and then Yashara, Lord Tyrak, those guys are commanders and everything. So um, it definitely I think it was definitely a good trip just because not only because the models are cool but a little bit like you said a little bit more variety with the stuff that we're getting.
I think we mentioned this previously, and not to go off on a tangent here, but like I'm excited for the new leaders, but like I want them to really sell me on why I should take one over another, as opposed to like taking Davicus the Afflicted,
Right.
just he's so strong and powerful. I really hope like we get like a lot of variation with them, and I bet we
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
That'd be my inkling, but I'm really I think out of everything the monsters, it'll be nice to have like a diverse group of leaders that we can really sink our teeth into.
Right. And not only, and we'll get to that later. We got some other leader dudes and whatnot, but in one of the battle reports that we have coming up, it was me and you, Roy. We did a battle report. We kind of talked about it in that where we're like, what, like, why should I take Dave over the Vice Lord or Nicaron Kell or whoever? You know what I mean? We kind of touched on that in the battle report. So, um, yeah. So the Horrors of the Veil war pack, and then we also got the Unyielding war pack for Imari. So, Coach, this is all your. I know you were excited. I mean, listen, Ryan. I know you were saying you're mainly gonna play the Veil Touched. Coach, I know you're gonna play the Gorkog and the Amari. I'm kind of like I want to play everything. I mean, I've played everything so far, and I like each faction so far. Um, but you know, the Veil Touch what kind of I kind of gravitated towards just because I was a Chaos player at one point for 40K, but doing the actually playing through each faction, I think they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the Unyielding War Pack, another leader, which is the Incarnate Architect, and then we're also getting some Forge Strike Shield Maidens, and then it was funny because I know, Coach, you're like I like those little drones. I'm like, oh yeah, this one comes with the Hornets and the Wasps. He's like, oh, and you're like, oh okay, and I really like the big mech with the hammer. I'm like, well, he also comes in that same war pack, the Ambassador. So, that guy is sick. That guy is freaking crazy, you know.
Now, which one? I'm sorry. What was the name of that one? Because I'm
The
trying to look it up.
ambassador.
No, no, the thing that he's in.
Oh, the unyielding war pack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you got the ambassador, and then I believe also there's a pacifier in it. That's the one. It's like got one hand's got
Well,
a drill, one hand's got
you're getting the Hornet drill. There seems like there's two different the little drone teams. There's Hornets and Wasps. So you're getting those two. Then the ambassador is the big guy.
yeah. But then I'm saying underneath that, you're.
Yeah,
I think these were because we did the late pledge. We didn't really
right.
see how the campaign went, so I think during the campaign this was like a stretch goal. So I think in this war pack you're getting looks like two mechanics, and then you're getting a pacifier, which I think that's what that one is called.
Yeah, the dreadnought type dude.
Yeah, yeah,
What I like about it is the dwarves themselves, the newer guys on the bottom where it says it says also unlocked, but then it says two IWD mechanics, which you just said, but the new poses of some of the dwarves are actually like um almost Viking, like
yeah,
Norse.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I kind of like that aesthetic, like Norse dwarves, which
Uh, I'm sorry.
kind of dig.
So that other mech model is not the pacifier. It's the modified LOM-6 excavator.
Yes.
So and he looks like he's got a bunch of stuff because I'm looking at the stats and everything, and the
Right.
ambassador too. The ambassador is like 135 points
Yeah. You
and
know what's funny?
has a lot of
When we
stuff.
when we last not this Adapticon, the one before it, we were walking around and we saw Dave, and they just had the models painted, but they didn't start the campaign yet.
Yeah,
And he comes up with the ambassador, and he's asking people, "What do you think?" He's asking, what would you call this guy? What would you call this guy? And he comes up to me and he's like, "Coach, what would you call this guy?" He says, "Your sister's ass." And he goes, "Why would you call it that?" I said, "Because when you get smashed, and they say, how did Joe die? Oh, he got smashed by your sister's ass." And I thought that was funny, and he kind of got embarrassed and blushed and stuff, and I thought it was so cute. But yeah, I'm gonna I can't wait to get these guys. Like
yeah,
really,
yeah. I mean,
I'm
I'm excited too because the when I'm thinking of dwarves, right? I'm thinking of like machines, and you not only are we getting the ambassador, we're getting the what was it called again? The excavator, and then the drones. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think that stuff is pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, you're getting four wasps, four hornets, and then the shield maidens.
yeah,
And I guess the incarnate architect. I don't want to say librarian, but maybe like magic user type deal.
right,
You know,
right,
because we don't really know the lore of or the background of this yet, but I don't really care.
right.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so I mean, and then I think let me see here. So yeah, the excavators and the ambassador are support units, and then those drones are elite units, and then you have the shield maidens are core units. So rounding out the units that we can take, which I think is important. Just a little variety. And then the other war pack we ended up getting was the Massive Monstrosities war pack. Now, Coach,
Yeah.
this is
All right. So I'll kind of go over this.
okay. I guess I'll let you take
So
the reins.
the Gorcock Scream Skidder is he looks like the Andrew. What's the guy? Not the lion guy that we have.
Agadon.
Egadon. He looks like that, but with kind of spindly legs. But he's got the two, like almost like tentacles with claws on the end of them reaching out. So that's cool. right? The Gorkogs, that was the Scream Skitter. Then the Blade Furies have these huge tusks and blades and like kind of claws and whatnot. They're awesome. So you get a bunch of those. I think we're getting 8 of those. The thing I really like is the Grudge Belcher and the Grudge Belcher, and then you're getting 16 the Grudge Mites. So I guess I don't know if it poops them out or something. Um, I know Tyranids have something similar to this. I hope it's the same thing because I love that so much. But the real thing that I'm looking at, well, let's look at you got the Razor Worm, which is kind of cool. It's got like 2 sets of mouths and just tons of claws and all that great stuff. But
And then don't forget, also unlocked were the Grudge
yeah,
Jammers.
the
So
Grudge Jammers,
another unit of stuff.
that kind of looks like if the Mousers from the Ninja Turtles were organic.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Right.
But and there's customization pieces. But the real thing that made me choose this one was the Flesh Scorchers, which
Yeah.
are actually like nightmarish scorpions, and they look huge. I guess there's 2 of them here, and then they have unlocked customization parts. But I just I've always wanted scorpions in the in an army, like this type of thing. So hoping we figure out how they are, how they play and whatnot. And I don't know, I could see myself running 6 of these guys just for the hell of it.
Mm.
But yeah, that really looks cool. And it says Flesh Scorchers, so I don't know if they have where the stinger would be. They have kind of um
Like an eye or something.
yeah, but I don't know if it's an eye or it's like a sphincter that shoots out fire or acid or something like that.
A sphincter.
Yeah. Well, a sphincter doesn't always. It doesn't have to be a butthole. It could be a sphincter. Can be just something else that just holds things back. So,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm a. It's been well stated before that one of my degrees is xenobiology, so I would know about this stuff.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. But also like the other one, the customization part, he's got like more armor and a stinger that goes on the sphincter. So, I don't know. I just let's get him, man. Let's get him. But the way we are now that we've gone through all this cool stuff, I really like these Grudge Jammers. The more I look at them,
Yeah.
I like to have everything at my fingertips. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna take null. I'm gonna take a bunch of Flesh Seekers, but then I'm gonna take a bunch of Blade Furies, and then we'll take the Flesh Scorchers. Then the next time we play, we could take like say the Scream Skitter, who is I think a leader, and then take 8 Blade Furies, and then just go down and then take 2 Razor Worms and Grudge Jammers. So there's always a variety, but also too, there's nothing wrong with like Gorkog versus Gorkog. So if you have enough models to do that, it's kind of it's like a cool thing. Like you could we always kind of try to do a little narrative, and it's like, well, why are the Gorkog going against Gorkog? Well, maybe there's a new queen coming in and getting rid of the other guys, or they're pissed off about something, and it's just like a territorial thing, or maybe it's a mating ritual where they rip each other apart, and then, who knows?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I just like having that stuff. But I think what we got is pretty good, and it's going to come in February, and then hopefully when we go to Adepticon in March, the guys will be there, and if we got to flesh out some ranks,
Yeah.
we should.
Well, there's. We're not quite done talking about our pledge, but the.
Well, I'm just saying about I'm saying about fleshing out the ranks or
right.
Getting more of what we need for this.
The Unyielding War Pack and the Massive Monstrosities War Pack, so the Gorkog and the Imari War Packs, those are a part of Wave 2, which will be in February, and then I believe Wave 1 is supposed to be in October, from what I've been seeing. I could be wrong on that, but and then that is going to be the Horrors of the Veil, and then the other stuff we're going to talk about, which, before we do that, I think it's time to take a quick little break, and then we will come back and talk about the rest of our pledge for Ravaged Star. Do you need terrain? Do you have a 3D printer? Well, look no further than CorvusGamesTerrain.com, who is sponsoring this episode. They have plenty of STL files for all different kinds of genres, like modern, sci-fi, fantasy, and much, much more. So go to CorvusGamesTerrain.com and use code FOGPodcast15 for 15% off your next order. That's FOGPodcast15 for 15% off your next order. The link will be in the description. Alright, so we are back talking about Ravaged Star, and we have 3 other boxes that we did end up getting as a part of our pledge. So not only did we get the 3 war packs, but well, first things first, I wanted the Abominations because I saw them at Adepticon. I really liked them. I did not get them, so I was like, you know what? I'll get them for myself because I really, really liked the Abominations for the Veil Touched. So we got those. You know, nothing too crazy. I believe they are an elite unit. Yes, they're an elite. They're a support unit actually. Even better. So just to flesh out the Veil Touch a little bit more monster stuff. But then I figured we should get Urian Lasgore, because he looks like he would be a Veil Touched model or unit or leader, but he's actually like a merc. So he's got like, in the free rules, by the way, which are on the Ravaged Star Discord, you can look at the free rules and stats and points and everything. He's considered a mercenary, which means that you can include 1 Urian Lasgore in your army regardless of the faction, and he takes up a commander slot in a detachment as normal. So yeah, I figured like we should get him because any of us could take him no matter what faction we're playing. So I thought that would be that's a good addition. And then the Heirs of Empires Elite Pack, which comes with 3 named character commander guys. The first being De Avar, who is an incarnate mystic or something like that. And he's in the Veil Touched. And I gotta say, like, I was looking at like the stats and everything for some of these for the guys in this box. God damn, they're pretty crazy. Like, he has a thing that he can just like just make a unit take a leadership test to see if they're shaken for his boost, and then he can take shaken off of friendly units. And then he's got some stuff that can give him Nova 2 and stuff like that. And then, we Coach has had some crazy experiences with Nova 2, or actually Nova 4 on the Mind Shackler. The other guy is Morag, the Rocket Tracks. Again, another commander who seems to be pretty good. He's also got some interesting stuff. He's like, his boost gives him Swift and Fly, which I'm not exactly sure what Fly does, but I can only assume what it does. And he's got some okay weaponry and everything, but he does have an aura that gives him like an extra 2 inches to friendly units on charges, which seems pretty good. So get those dudes in there quickly. But the Gorkog guy that comes in the box, Rivus the Flesh Eater. Holy crap. I looking at his stats, I don't even know what to say. Because it is ridiculous. But also, he is the most expensive commander you can take in the Gorkog at 95 points. 5 points more than Null. Okay? Null is 90 points. And, geez, this guy's insane. Because one of his boost abilities is a once per game ability where he can basically just spawn a unit of 12 Flesh Seekers on the board. Just as a boost. As a single action. Once per game he could do that. Like, damn. And then he's got, like, aura abilities that give them stealth, that, you know, can make them do free move actions. I was looking at these guys that come in the Heirs of Empires. Damn, that was a good purchase because they all seem pretty good. And I know, Ryan, you were saying before about, you know, we talked in the battle report, like, oh, what is the incentive of, you know, bringing, like, taking certain leaders? I think looking at, like, this stuff and looking into the stats a little bit more of certain guys, it's like, damn, like, these are some pretty damn good good leaders or good commanders, you know. So but yeah, I mean, that's everything we got for the pledge. What are you guys excited? What do you guys think?
I'm pumped.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel like we've come it'll be like a year in the making, but
Yeah,
I'm so excited for it. I can't believe Virgil outdid us, but
I know Virgil he got one of the bigger pledges that gave him a bunch of stuff. So
let's be real, he dropped a band.
Almost a band.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I feel like this stuff hasn't even come. Like, I don't, like, the game's still in beta, but like I don't know. I'm fully invested in this. You know.
Me too. Me too.
I was really happy when we did Veil Touch versus Veil Touch. It was kind of just reaffirming that it was like, okay, like I'm good to sink some more money into this because the game plays well. So
yeah.
And again, like we've mentioned it before, like supporting Matt and Dave is, I think, a win because they're nice guys. You know, we're not gonna, you know, like, that's just like, it's not even like an added bonus. Like, you know, we're more than happy to do it because, like, they're cool dudes. Like, you know, I feel like Real understands Real, so it's just like, you know, we're doing our thing here, we're having fun. I think they recognize that, and they've been super helpful. And, you know, I think, like, it's only natural for us to throw the support back. So
Yeah, yeah, and again, I'm also extremely excited. Is there anything you guys are specifically excited about? Any models or units or whatever that you're specifically excited about, or no, nothing?
The Scorpion guys.
What about you, Roy?
well, I mean, I'm pretty much excited for everything in the Horrors of the Veil Touch War Pack, but I don't know his name, but the guy with what's his? He's got like he's like the demon guy, and he's got the wings shooting out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, uh, Yashara, the Shepherd of the Damned.
Maybe.
With
I'm not again. I'm not on with the names yet.
Yeah, I mean, the
think
Dread Terrors also have wings, but this is like the lady woman person with the wings
Right.
and the crown or whatever.
Right. Yes. Yes. She's pretty dope. I mean, I pretty much like everything in it. Um, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just excited to get more. It can't. It's not just one thing. I'm like, I can't wait to open the box, and it's just like, wow, we have all this now. You know.
right, right. Yeah, it's just so the funny part is that basically all the Veil Touched is coming in wave one in I guess October, so that's like the war pack. Urian Lasgore, Empire of, or the Heirs of the Empire, and then the Abominations. That's all in Wave 1. Granted, the Urian Lasgore and the Heirs of Empires that, we could all use, but the other 2 war packs for Amari and Gorkog, those are coming in February. So, yeah. So you guys are going to have to, or at least Coach, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the Gorkog and Amari, but for the time being, we could use what we got,
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to wait.
Yeah. As far as we know, they're not delayed. Like the Worms board game is delayed, unfortunately. So sad. But yeah, so it looks like shipping, estimated start of delivery, Wave 1 is going to be end of October, yeah, and then Wave 2 will be next year, February. So we got a way to go, but we're
Where's
pretty...
Fabian coming out on this? Is he on the latter half of the stick as far as releases go?
I don't know what did he end up getting. Fabian did something.
He's getting Amari, so it'll be February.
Well, which Amari thing did he get? Because the I think, oh yeah, the Champions one. Yeah, I don't know. Because if he got a starter set, then those are coming first. But then where is it? The Champions of Amari and the Unyielding War Pack for Amari and the Unit Card Pack for Amari are coming in February. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what he got, but they, some stuff are coming early in October, or not early October, but early compared to the other stuff. But yeah, because I know he was talking about doing proxies for the Veil Touch if he wanted to play that. Because, I mean, granted, we could also do that, with some certain stuff. If we want another unit of Flesh Seekers, we got Tyranids. Which I think also a lot of people were doing just to, for the play testing and everything. Just to try it out using random stuff. And even with, like, the Amari, you could do some Forge Fathers or whatever, use some of that stuff, or use Chaos for the Veil Touched, or Nids for the Gorkog. But they're obviously extremely different from the normal Nids, Chaos, Forge Father stuff that we have and that we've seen, which is kind of what is drawing me into it. Now, another question I have for you guys: is there anything you guys are wishing for, or like anticipating, or want them to come out in the future, faction wise, unit wise, or is there anything you guys wanna see come out of Ravaged Star?
I think the only thing right now, and obviously, like, I'm not over asking here. Like, obviously, like, we got to get through them fulfilling the pledge and painting and playing and everything that goes on with the rule updates. I have been disappointed. Is the wrong word. Definitely not disappointed, but like, I just like there's just like this mysterious question mark around a fourth faction, where it's like, what? Obviously, they will do it at some point. What is it going to be? And it's like, I feel like, Coach, you have your faction, Fabian has his faction. We're kind of sharing. I know you want to play everything, but like, in all honesty, like, we're kind of sharing the Veil Touch.
Yeah.
Because I know you definitely lean Veil Touch, but I feel like there's got to be like one more, like, really like I don't even know, like, I don't know what they would do.
Yeah.
I don't even know, because like, again, like, anything they like, I think there's a certain point, like, if they come out with something and it's like, oh well, people are going to complain it's copying 40K if it's like an adjacent faction, because like, like 40K does the elves, 40K has the dwarves, even though like that kind of just happens simultaneously apparently. Like, what could they add realistically that just like is its own thing. It works. It's gonna have great lore and it's gonna look great up against the other armies.
Right.
Like I guess like the possibilities are endless. Um, I would say probably like so they have like one Xeno faction and two like obviously the dwarves aren't human, but like human like factions, you know what I mean? And the chaos I mean the Veil Touch and the Amari, so maybe they add like another Xeno one. I don't know what it would be, but I feel like the world is your oyster there.
I want some goblins. I want some goblins.
I just I don't like obviously like there I'm sure once this everything gets fleshed out there'll be some kind of orc goblin type stuff, but I don't know. I feel like there could be a
Honestly,
fun.
I think that they would really have to do something. Like if they wanted to do orcs, they'd have to do something super different. Super different.
Right.
Because if you look at like Marauders and you look at the orcs in 40K, it's just kind of it's all just generic. They're green skin orcs with weapons and goblins that they throw around and dogs that they have as pets. It's the same stuff. I would definitely, if they do orcs, I would love for them to maybe do something, I guess, completely different from regular orcs.
I
Uh,
don't. I wouldn't even like. I could see it entering eventually, but I don't know. I feel like if you want to stir some like interest over a new faction, like then you got to go outside the box.
oh
Now,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying they do this, but like I love that in Bushido they have like the Fox faction. Where do you see that? Now, I'm not saying like Space Foxes is like the answer, but I'm saying like I think it's that kind of like outside the box like allure. It's like, well, you can't really play an army like this in any other game because they don't exist.
right, right.
Um, I would definitely like obviously like any new faction is welcome news, but I would definitely like probably stay away from the orcs and marauder types just because like, it's just so like I just think they're so overdone.
Well, they should just do all goblins, not a single orc. It's only goblins. What do you think about that, Coach?
I think a whole army of velociraptors.
Yeah, two friggin' dinosaurs.
Just velociraptors. That's it.
Only velociraptors.
Yep. Velociraptors, troops, velociraptor mechs,
Mechs that are
velociraptor.
that are velociraptors, piloted by velociraptors.
Correct. And then controlled by a velociraptor.
Right. Is there anything else you would wanna see them do in the future for Ravaged Star or
The velociraptors have this like power to fight chaos
okay.
because they're technologically advanced.
Okay. The poor raptors, man.
Velociraptors.
Velociraptors. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick maybe Matt and Dave Space Foxes. Let's see it
Space
or
foxes
maybe
or
Space Fox
space
Space Fox.
animals.
I would like to see like samurai velociraptors.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
Samurai space velociraptors.
No, they wouldn't be space velociraptors. They'd just be regular velociraptors that are samurai.
Do they have like guns?
What's that?
Do they have like guns?
Sure, why not?
Like space guns?
Yeah.
So then there's
I feel
space
like elementals
velociraptors.
would be cool too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like waters, water, fire, ice, and earth creatures and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot you can do there.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I feel like the next logical step, like forget like the models and everything coming in, is just like them like grinding out what the first real edition of the rules is going to be like, not in beta. I
Right.
feel like games spend a while in beta, so like I'm assuming like I don't know if they have like a timetable on it, but like whatever we can do, I think in our time and anyone else who's playing for that regard, just like giving them like general feedback, um, is going to help move this game in the right direction and get us like that final product that we want to see I think anything else is getting ahead of ourselves, but like with the faction talk.
Right.
But yeah. I want to see like, I just envision like holding a hardcover copy of a Ravaged. I understand everything's digital now, but like a hardcover Ravaged Star rulebook, that would be like the coolest thing ever once everything's fleshed out.
Right, right. Yeah, I think they have that in one of the pledges or something. You can get a rule book, but as Coach said before, I'm sure when Adepticon rolls around next year for 2025, we'll be picking up rule books or models or whatever if they're selling stuff.
I feel like that wasn't the first place we went when we went this past year, but I feel like we're going to be hightailing it over there, come 2025 in Milwaukee.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that'll be one of the first stops at Adepticon 2025. But, you guys got anything else to add? Anything else Ravaged Star to talk about? Anything I missed?
No, I think maybe if next time we could talk more mechanics and stuff, because I want to get a few more games under my belt to really dive into that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. We gotta start the grind, the Ravaged Star grind, playing a bunch of stuff. But yeah, guys. So that is it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast, you can give it a like or a heart or whatever on Spotify. And again, check the show notes or description wherever you're watching this, either on YouTube or Spotify. You can check out our link tree, and that has our links to our stuff for YouTube, social media, all that good stuff is on there. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So we will see you in the next one.
Well, guys, unfortunately, this is the end. But don't worry, they will be back next month. And you can check out all the links in the description or show notes for more Andrew and Coach. See you next month.